Hello and welcome to day 4 of Calm During COVID. I'm Paisley and this is Lizzie. And today's practice is actually going to be a mindfulness practice to work with anxiety. So I'm going to start with a basic definition, one of the definitions of mindfulness that I like, and it is paying attention on purpose to what's happening in the moment without pushing or pulling against it. So when it comes to working with difficult emotions, whether it's anxiety or grief or just this overwhelming feeling of helplessness that we seem to be experiencing during COVID, what we want to do in order to stay present, there's a few ways that we can approach this. One way is that we want to build our capacity to stay present and have equanimity in the face of this emotion or feeling that we're working with. So an analogy that I heard recently is like you're in an ocean and the boat that you're in needs to be big enough for you to be able to cross the ocean. Like you wouldn't start in a dinghy, you wouldn't start in a kayak, you would be on an ocean liner, right? So you need a bigger capacity, a bigger boat, let's say in this analogy, of the ability to be aware in order to hold space for the intensity of hard or challenging emotions, difficult emotions. So this is one part of the approach of working with mindfulness tools and something like anxiety or a big, overwhelming feeling emotion. Now, the second thing, then we're going to put these together a little bit here. The second thing is what's often called titration in trauma-informed studies. So titration comes actually from science, and it's this idea of when you add two chemicals together, instead of making an explosion by adding too much too quickly, you just do one drop at a time. And over time, you increase the amount that you're adding. So it's one drop and then it's two drops. You're not adding more drops at a time. It's still one drop, but you're building that capacity to work with what's happening. Okay, so I'm gonna light us a little candle of protection. Sometimes having a little ritual like this can help give the mind a tool also to anchor to. But what we're gonna start with is seeing, the sense of seeing, and we're going to see out into the environment, and we're going to start with a wide expanse and we're going to work closer. So we're going to build that openness and then titrate or touch into something that feels a little bit intense right now or a little bit more uncomfortable. So if you're not sitting, get yourself sitting. Doesn't have to be cross-legged. And take a breath to begin to move into the actual practice of mindfulness in relationship with something that might be challenging. Right now, we're not really staring at that thing. It might be there in your background already, but instead, we're going to soften the eyes, and we're going to do what in some native cultures they call far mountain gazing. So fuzz your vision a little bit, like you're looking at a distant mountain or a distant horizon. So you're not staring at one thing with a hard gaze. Your eyes can blink. And with this soft, far mountain gaze, you're starting to take in more space in your vision. You're seeing the peripheral vision, not just what's in front of you. So we're paying attention to where we are now. Paying attention on purpose to what's happening now. Seeing out, as if looking in the distance. And with your eyes still pointing forward, see if you can become aware of the left side of your peripheral vision. Don't change your eyes, just notice that side. And now shift your awareness, even though your eyes are still forward with this soft gaze. See the right side in your peripheral vision. And then pick one of those sides or forward as what you're attending to. So this is something we can do always in a mindfulness practice, is a selective attention. So even though your eyes might be forward, you could be kind of attending to something off in the corner. And we'll just stay with this for another moment or two. And then you can let your eyes do whatever they want and just take a breath. Notice anything that you might feel or observe. And then we're going to move into this second part. So that's the first part. We took our attention out to create a bigger, a sense of like that oceanic, that big capacity. But it's also important, the capacity of our awareness we build over time. So if this is something that you want to continue working with, I would suggest that you practice a little bit every day. It could be like 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes, but just to kind of strengthen the mental muscle of being able to hold more attention, more awareness. That's going to help with that bigger boat to cross the ocean of this feeling. Now, the second phase, this titration part, we're gonna see in, and it's really feeling. But if it feels safe to you, you can close your eyes. And for me, when I'm really feeling anxious and overwhelmed, that's too much. I'm borderline right now, so I'm gonna start with my eyes closed, and I can immediately feel in my body where I'm holding tension and fear. It feels like fear and anxiety. If it's too much, you just open your eyes and you go back to that far mountain gazing, because this is titration, right? We don't want to go in so hard that the nervous system spikes in agitation again. If you're not feeling any kind of emotion that you're wanting to work with right now, you can do what's called trigger practice, where you can recall a situation or a person or something that triggered you or regularly triggers you, preferably not the thing that is the biggest trigger or the hardest thing. Let's pick one that's manageable. Okay, so feel either into your own body, see into where you are maybe feeling tension or holding this anxiety in your physical form, or recall a trigger for yourself, and then in your mind's eye, see the most distant, like the farthest edge of that, not right up in your heart center, but like where's the edge of that sense of the trigger or the anxiety or whatever emotion you're working with. And just look at that edge, just stay at that edge for a moment. And then start to listen. We're going to use a different sense now, out. And I want you to listen for something in your environment. Like for right now, there's somebody doing yard work. It sounds like it's across the street. It's back over that corner. So you're going to put your attention on something that's catching your awareness, preferably that's not annoying you. Maybe even something that is soothing to you. Like I can hear Lizzie here breathing, which it feels calming to me. And you're going to keep your attention on that other thing until you feel some letting go of gripping. Like maybe your body softens a little bit, or there's a sense of a lightness off of the weight off the shoulders, or something, a palpable response. Now, if you've been pretty triggered lately, and I'm on this edge right now, I've had some emotion for sure lately with COVID and not knowing what's coming. Doing that titration, that look in, feel, and then look or hear out, just do that once. That's enough. But if you are, if you have capacity, or you're working with something that's not as overwhelming, you're in a bigger boat, metaphorically speaking, you can repeat this cycle. You can feel into where you might be holding tension or anxiety or this trigger, perhaps an awareness of the edge of that, or how it relates to how you're holding yourself up, your posture, and the rest of your body. And then at the same time, hear out to something that is maybe soothing or neutral, and rest your attention on that other thing that's helping you feel more calm. Maybe it's the eyes again. If your eyes are open, maybe you're doing that far mountain gaze, or there's a piece of art or trees that you're looking at. And you're going to stay with that until you feel a sense of calming, or we're not looking for this this trigger to just go away suddenly. I mean, that would be great, but we're not trying to impose that sort of agenda on ourselves. We're just trying to get more space around the intensity of the emotion by giving our nervous system a calming and soothing tone. And then when you feel like you get a response from that, maybe there's a touch of relaxation, or you just, sometimes I have the relief of crying, then you can reassess if you want to cycle again or if that's enough. So just be conscientious, be cautious about how you do that. And be compassionate with yourself. Like, this is intense. We're working with intensity, and these are intense and different times that we're in right now. So go slow, be mindful in your mindfulness practice, and don't be afraid that if it's too much, to just step back for a moment and don't trigger yourself again. Okay, so that's it for day 4, and I can't believe it, but tomorrow's our last day. But I'm so grateful that you've made it this far in the journey, and I'm very grateful for you doing this work, because creating this kind of balance for ourselves is how we're going to make the world a better place. So thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.